What's happening, YouTube? This is Justin from Justin's SVU, and you are listening to 66.6 Buckwild, the internet's only extreme metal radio, as far as I'm concerned. Maybe I'm wrong. Who cares? I'm the only one that matters. Let's go. Today, we are listening to 5 records from Headbangers.com. If you are unaware of them, they are the premier, the creme de la creme of all extreme metal on the internet. So I'm going to talk about the albums a little between the grooves, but let's sample some of these guys. Let's listen to what they're putting out. And without further ado, let's get it rocking. First up, Caustic Phlem. What an absolute banger. Caustic Phlem with Purulent Apocalypse. That song's called The Teratophilist, I think. I hope I got that right. Anyways, I am not one for synth in my death metal, but god damn do they do it well. I gotta say, man, that is some downright dungeonous, doominous. You can feel the spores in the darkness coming off that one. Yeah, check that album out, man. The rest of it's just as good. It's one of the best new death metal albums probably of the 2020s, I would say. I'm absolutely obsessed with this thing. I've listened to it a million times. Last time, that is Caustic Phlem with Purulent Apocalypse. If you're enjoying this so far, please subscribe to the channel. I will be posting more of these sessions so you can listen to them on your way to work, at the gym, and we can bro out a little here in between tracks. Next up, we got something just as good, just as heavy, also coming from Hell's Headbangers, as are all these records, as stated before. Let's get into it, and we'll talk about it after. Pharmacist, ladies and gentlemen. That was Pharmacist with Necromorph. And if you're still listening, you are listening to Justin's SVU on 66.6 Buckwild, the only all-vinyl extreme metal DJ on the planet. And if you haven't noticed, you probably had your ass blown out by that last song. Pharmacist, man. What a great band. I know they say that's like carcass worship, but man, the finest level of grindcore in my opinion. The riffs are just unbelievably catchy, bouncy, groovy. Dude, you can nod along to that shit all day. The amount of times I've listened to this album is like, I can't even count. It's too good. So yeah, definitely pick that up on Hell's Headbangers. We're going to play some more grindcore. Now let's get it going. This is Hemorrhage with Anatomical Inferno. Now, listener, no, you did not just have your head caved in. In fact, you listened to a band called Hemorrhage on their album Anatomical Inferno. That is some catchy as shit riffing right there. Yeah, man, I really love that band. They're so fast. So compared to some of the other stuff I've been playing too, it's a lot more like 1-2 punch with the songs where it's quick, fast, like get in, get out kind of shit where, you know, I'm more into the death metal that's a little lengthier, that's a little more like, you know, the last song we listened to, Necromorph by Pharmacist, where they kind of go in a bunch of different directions. They're a little more progressive. This is kind of stripping that back, and we're listening to some gritty, bare bones, bash your skull in type shit, you know? So, hell yeah, man. If you haven't listened to Hemorrhage, everything they've done is good. I think they just came out with a new EP this year. Go check them out. Definitely listen to Anatomical Inferno, though. It's my favorite. Next up, I'm going to hit you with the heavies, but make sure you're subscribed and locked in to Justin SVU on 66.6 Buckwild, the only all-vinyl extreme metal internet radio show. Here we have Deceased with Blueprints for Madness.
We're out of
damn, that shit rips. You ever hear someone say, and I usually hate it when people say shit like this, but you ever hear someone say, now that is thinking man's death metal. That's the thinking man's death metal. Deceased on the triangle there, that is a thinking man's. That is death metal that if you just listen to those riffs, you sit back, you take those riffs in, those riffs define what heavy metal is all about. That's it. Those groovy fucking like dun 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 dun. When that so many times does the riff break in there and just blow your mind. You gotta sit with some of these songs, man. I'm telling you, that is the shit right there. That's it. So one more time, give it up for Deceased. Next. This is the OG shit. The Benjamin's feeling nice. If that's not the heaviest shit you ever heard. Acid Witch with Witch Tannic Hallucinations. Acid Witch Tannic Hallucinations. That is some, you just Hanseled and Gretel'd your ass into the witch's house, and it's not just gonna eat you, it's gonna feed you acid first, and then it's gonna meddle with your mind, and you're gonna have witch tannic hallucinations, and then you're gonna be eaten by the witch. Anyways, great shit. I love that album, man. That is killer psychedelic death metal. I don't know. It doesn't get much cooler than that. Very Halloween-y, very campy. It's just fucking fun. And that's what I love about death metal, man. I love death metal that is fucking fun. You know what I'm saying? Some of this shit takes itself way too seriously. Honestly, I listened to that new Ulcerate album. I want to like it. I can understand how it's good. It's just too fucking serious. It's not personally how I like my death metal, so I'm just talking shit. But anyways, I got one more record here that is not from Hell's Headbangers. I don't know if you can get it from them, but you know what it is, bro. You know what's coming. This is a Relapse Records release. You can get it from there. Fuck it, dude. Let's play the Tish.
Hello.
It's me.
I know. Who are you? I'm not going to be here much longer. Dr. Mandrakis and his wife are coming home.
I know.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Sorry, I turned the lights down. Turn them back up if you like.
Don't.
Don't. You really scared me, if that's what you wanted. Is that what you wanted?
No.
What do you want?
Your blood. All over me.
Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a blast. I am Justin with Justin's SVU, and you are listening to 66.6 Buckwild, the only all-vinyl extreme metal experience on the internet. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.